What's poppin'? Out of the many Disney movies to come as of recent, there have been some good ones and a good amount of bad ones, and some that you probably never even seen because they didn't even bother trying to market it. But what's remained a constant is the live action remakes, and most of them suck. These movies to me fit into two categories: garbage and mediocre. They just feel so cash grabby, which I mean they basically are, always trying to encapsulate what made you fall in love with the originals and profit off of your nostalgia and pre-established love for these Disney classics. It kinda sorta started with the Alice in Wonderland films in the early 2010s. Although they were received poorly by critics, they undoubtedly made a butt ton of money. It had to sacrifice a lot of the magic that made it so amazing in the first place, but you know, you do what you gotta do, I suppose, right, Disney? And this was the point Disney realized it could reuse older properties and still make a killer earning by doing so. And so more followed, some doing extremely well, and others kinda crappy. But one thing was certain: Disney could now sustain itself with its already existing properties, and it was proven that despite how much effort or changes to the story they could make, they wouldn't have to try nearly as hard. Let's take a closer look at all of them. For starters though, I want to explain the magic of the original classics. It really all comes down to one big factor: the medium. There is an undeniable truth that the animation is and always will be the best format to create these amazing worlds, characters, and stories in. And you might be like, well, Miczilla, that's just your own personal opinion. And to that I say, shut up. There is an undeniable charm and passion and flair to these movies that make them so magical every time you view them. These stories were made for animation, and as much as you try, you cannot tell me otherwise. From the unique character designs to beautifully hand-painted backgrounds and settings that feel all so meticulous that you know love was put into each and every one of them. And even down to the voice acting, which is always either decent or straight up phenomenal, that you cannot picture the character with any other voice. And yes, there was celebrity casting, even during this renaissance of an age. It was much more minimal, however, and yet still felt really thought out.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Disney also didn't have to rely on these big ticket actors to, well, sell tickets. What's interesting is that there was an instance where Robin Williams wanted Disney to not promote or use his name to market the movie Aladdin, and to be the only reason why people actually go see the movie. Disney did it anyway and did him dirty, but it's fine. Not really. But at the end of the day, these cast and characters were all uplifted by the unlimited medium of animation and all the wondrous things it has to offer. There is a true passion behind every single cell of these, and you can tell. Love was put into these films because the animators and writers wanted to create a unique, original, keyword, original story that would enchant and bring life to the audience. But then Disney pulled up in the 2010s and said, what if we did those again, but worse? Now these are not only retelling of stories that were fine as they were, well, mostly fine, and it was a different time back then, but it's still pretty weird. But these live action remakes at times are just so awful and unbearable. Let's pick an easy target. The Lion King live action adaptation is just the worst version. Let's admit it. There is this obvious point of the more realistic approach to the characters, and it fails immensely. There's absolutely no expression or life in any of these lines, and it at times just feels like you turned the TV on and Animal Planet was the first thing that was playing. And no disrespect to the voice actors, because a part of me feels their talent was wasted on a movie where they're not even given good expressions, or any expressions at all. But I just find the original cast much stronger, and this movie had its fair share of celebrity voice acting. Some better than others. This film is just so dry of life and really brings nothing new to the table, or better at all. Continuing the trend of lifeless animal character CGI, we have Lady and the Tramp, which if I remember correctly released as a launch title for Disney+, which is kinda odd. Like, is it just me, or could they have not gotten a stronger movie to pick to launch alongside Mr. Golden Child? And this movie has a similar issue to The Lion King, so I won't repeat myself. Just more janky and lifeless animation. Another one of these abominations that was released the same year is the live action Aladdin. I remember seeing the trailer and I was just like, Why? To replace the amazing voice work of Robin Williams is no small task. And did Will Smith succeed? Not really. Certainly one of the better ones, I suppose, and the set pieces were cool, but like I said, and I keep saying it, I hate to keep repeating myself like a broken record, but it really just is the main issue with all of these. There is a better version out there. This film is fine, it's just okay in my book though. Certainly better than the previous mentions, however. Oh yeah, and the Mistress of Evil exists. I never actually got around to watching it, but I'm sure it's just as okay or worse than the first one. I don't care, I'm never gonna see it. In fact, I never actually remember even seeing a trailer for this movie. What's up with that? Oh, and the Dumbo movie feels extremely dragged out and long. It's just as basic of a movie as you can get. Also, the movie obviously sucks because it doesn't have the part where Dumbo gets drunk and has that cool animated segment. Their version sucks, trust me. God damn, it's like they intentionally rip out all the magic from these and just do the bare minimum, adding literally nothing. Also, damn, 2019 had a lot of these. Also, damn, Cruella. I'll give Cruella this. It's trying something different. And the ending was actually pretty fun, with a cool gimmick where everyone's just wearing spots. But yeah, the rest was pretty interesting and one of the better ones in my opinion, although at times this was a little slow. And Christopher Robin was pretty cute, and I like how they're all plushies, and that's basically all I have to say on it, because yeah. I think the reason these two stick out to me a little bit more and a little bit better is because they did something different and put a little twist on it. One showing a villain origin story, and the other showing a grown-up adult come face with his childhood. These are, in my opinion, pretty unique and cool twist. Definitely not masterpieces, but I enjoyed them far more than the others. So let's see who else is on the— oh my god!
What? It's just an ordinary crabby— oh my goodness!
Speaking of spins in different directions, this is one where the different direction didn't work at all. Oh, and of course Rotten Tomatoes decided to give Mulan a 72%. What? This film not only removed a large part of the supporting characters, but also our lead Mulan has pretty bad acting. This movie just skips over any empowering and emotionally weighted scenes the movie adaptation had for a more disjointed and less impactful movie. Also, this movie is not even a musical, so those good songs you love, gone. And don't tell me this is due to tone. That's why they got rid of all these things, cause this movie's so janky and absurd I can't even take it seriously. They wanted the empowerment that the original Mulan gave the audience so bad, but when they tried it, they fell on their face so hard. And then Pinocchio. Not to be confused with Pinocchio, or better yet, Pinocchio. All jokes aside though, this film was god awful. I'll give them credit where credit is due. They tried to change things up a bit. Like the Pleasure Island sequence was neat, but this felt like a lesser version of the original, and even on its own, it cannot stand. Because let me tell you, Pinocchio himself looks like doo-doo. He looks completely animated. The CGI just looks so unbelievable. He has this glossy, almost plasticky look, and he doesn't look like he's made out of wood at all, or even a puppet for that matter. And his face looks so flat. There's no dimension to him, or weight for that matter. And then there's this girl who is also in the traveling show with Pinocchio, and him and her have a bond. But then she's gone, but then she appears.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
This all sort of just happens out of nowhere. And then there's like these lame jokes that fall flat, you know, with the pop culture references or nods to actors. Who asked for this? And let's not forget the shameless Disney plug. And Tom Hanks, he's just forgettable in this one. Like, why was he even here? His performance is not awful, but it's something spectacular. And what's worse is that you really can't see these two having any connection, because you know Pinocchio ain't even there. And Tom Hanks makes it obvious, especially when he's holding him. And there's no mention of his lost son Carlo, which would have strengthened Geppetto's relationship and longing for a new son. They like tease it, but don't do anything with it at all. Instead, we see Geppetto and Pinocchio's relationship via montage. Can you get any more lazy than that? Please, just go watch the original. Actually no, watch Del Toro's, because that one is purely amazing and 10 times better than any other Pinocchio, and I will die on that hill. And there's The Little Mermaid. Look, this film has gotten some crazy backlash for some completely stupid reasons, but setting all that aside, I still really don't care for this movie. I don't really want to see another retelling of a story I've already been told, and a medium I much rather prefer. My interest for it is low. and I probably won't ever watch it. Disney has gotten to the point where they don't even want to try as much anymore, and it shows with these travesties that are considered films. There are better, more lively and fun versions of all of these that really, you're just wasting your time watching any of these live actions. Disney needs to stop making these because they are only getting worse. But it's most likely they won't. They know that these bring home money, and it's a real shame. It's a waste of these actors, artists, and most importantly, it's a waste of your time. Disney, you need to divert your attention back to the animated movies. God knows they need it. Please stop making these god-awful adaptations. Oh, well, at least you're not ruining Hercules. As long as that one's okay, then I hate you.